Hey, good morning. So, what happens after the eclipse? Well, just know our Western minds, we get caught up in the exactitude of things, the precision, and which we love computers, we love the math, but realize the moon is, she's divinely feminine. She's about the flow, the ability to understand the different cycles, the blurring of the boundaries between that the starkness of the sun, because we know when the sun is going to set, we know when it's going to rise. But the moon, there's a fluidity, and she is said to rule the fluids in our bodies as well. So this super blood moon lunar eclipse, the day after, just know that when we go from the waxing cycle to the waning cycle, which is what a full moon, that moment of that, every time this occurs, the waxing cycle, as we build up in the light, is the building up of the heightened subjectivity, how things affect me and mine. The typical mama bear or the protective papa, basically. But when we go into the waning side, which is what happens, then it's about the collective. It's about the integration of the ego with the soul, or the identity with the larger parts of our psyche, which is also soul, in order to represent our evolution and our growth as a collective. It's not just about the individual anymore. So we do have the new moon solar eclipse occurring on June 10th. So for the next couple weeks, it'd be important to kind of look at the emotional debris, look at the ability to recognize where you're being the busy bee, the wheel of fortune, where you're recognizing the larger cycles of karma in your life. And by that I mean you can look at the 2002, you can go back to 19 years before. I mean, you can just theme out these eclipses in Gemini and Sagittarius every 19 years and realize that just understanding that Gemini is the information gatherer. It's the in the beginning, the word said, let there be light, and we got light. And then if that's being blocked, we may be not dealing with our darkness, our shadows. We may be splintering off or disassociating or having what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. Where an example of that is where people would say they hate Obamacare, but then they like the Affordable Care Act. And so it's that ability, it's that the mind that doesn't quite do its research. It's the mind that's divorced from spirit, divorced from fellow connected feelings. And a mind like that is how we get, the sociopaths, the psychopaths, the serial murderers, the insurrectionists, and so it's about our understanding with this Gemini Sag of how we can easily split the baby, the King Solomon baby, where in that parable, the mother of the actual child said, no, give it to her. And then that's how the king knew that she was the actual mother of the baby, not the woman who said, well, yeah, you can split that baby because it ain't mine anyway. And then we both don't have a baby. So understand that we're living in interesting times. We have a longer term transit of Neptune, and Neptune dissolves the ego, dissolves it through daily contemplation, daily awareness of where the limits of the ego. The ego gets us to show up, gets us to identify, to acknowledge, and to make effort. But if we get stuck in being right, then the ego can end up divorcing itself from the soul, divorcing itself from the essential connections that we all have. And then our wounds begin to fester and take over and decay in a way that we're in emotional pain, we're in spiritual pain, we're in physical pain, and we're in intellectual pain. And the fact that this eclipse has more signs or more teachers, planets, in the mutables, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Sagittarius. And I wear this shirt whenever the moon is in Sag because it's centaur of attention. Sag is a centaur. And don't get it twisted. All fire signs like the attention that they like. And that's part of defeating their metaphorical fire or their spirits. And so, but this, to get back on point, to realize this eclipse right before Mercury goes retrograde on the 29th, is you're paying attention to your intention behind communication. And in that, you can pause, as I've said in the other video, but realize that the Sagittarius energy can sometimes put the cart before the horse. It can be excessive enthusiasm, saying yes when you really mean no, overcommitting and then resenting that you've overcommitted, and then you want to save face, and it just goes on and on and on. But know that as Jupiter continues to move in one of his home signs of Pisces, we can feel a sense of awareness and interconnectedness and feeling like we are our brothers and sisters' keeper, that we are their keeper, and recognizing where we may have judgments based on a lack of information, or wanting to seem like we're in the know, but in reality, we're just filling in the gaps, generally speaking. And I got this great word yesterday, sagerate. It's Sagerate, and it's when Sagittarius exaggerate, it exaggerates to a point where that's now starting to be not misspeaking, but we're moving from the emotional fish story to you just straight out lying. You're misrepresenting, and typically that's based on the insecurity of the Sag that can be quick and intuitive, but not scholarly and factually driven like the Gemini. So this eclipse is about bringing up those memories of when you faked it until you made it, or you continue to fake it, or you're faking it now, and you're pointing the finger at someone else, which is the Mars in Cancer until June 11th, because this next eclipse on June 10th, the new moon solar, will be the last degree of Mars. And so when planets get to the 29th, 30th degree, it's a karmic cleanup. And we're definitely in this wheel of fortune spinning of the karmic wheel. But the trick with the wheel of fortune is to ride it from the center, to not get overly excessive, like the Chinese story that says that the man put his lottery ticket in his cane, he won, he got so excited, he threw the cane in the river. No money for him. So it's important to moderate our enthusiasm, as well as elevating those sides of ourselves that are splintered off in darkness and shadow, and bringing the light to them. Because let there be light is metaphorically the consciousness that we're all seeking to develop. Please go to ORM, Our Raw Material. That's a YouTube channel that I'm working with Tavish Cardiff. And we're looking to do, for the next solstice, summer solstice is on June 20th. And so on Tuesday, June 22nd, reach out. We're going to, starting about 6:45 p.m. to 8, promptly at 7 p.m., we're going to do meditations for the Mentors Week. And then the following week is music, and then there's food. And every Tuesday as we go through the summer, we want to build community, we want to build enthusiasm and connection for our raw material, and really bring in that balance point between our egos and our souls. The energy, the voice, the scale, and the protector. Energy, voice, scale, and protector of our ego and soul. So we're looking forward, and I hope you can join us here at Equal Minded Cafe. I'll be talking more about it as we go forward, but you were the first to know. Have a great remainder of your week.